it's one thing to be beaten by your opponent, and it's one thing to be beaten by yourself. Credit LA. I mean, credit them. They had a great game plan. They executed it really well. That's no question. I don't want to take anything away from them, but we beat ourselves tonight, plain and simple.
When you're talking about fighting off apathy, like, can anyone actually do that, or does that just come down to a character thing, like every guy in his own mind? Because you can tell people to do things, but
Sure. I mean,
you can't control them.
it's all up to every individual man, all 69 players on the roster, right? Obviously including practice squad. Yeah, it comes down to every personal man's integrity, what you're doing when no one's watching, the individual choices you're making when you're not necessarily, you don't have to be on, you don't have to be a football player, but like, are the decisions we're making ones that benefit the team or take away from it? I've been saying that all year. It's been a huge, huge mantra I've tried to preach, and I think it needs to be echoed now more than ever. Personal integrity and accountability, of knowing your role cold every time you walk out on the field on Sunday, and competing at the highest level, because we got a mix of old and young players, and some guys who've made it all the way to the championship Sunday in February and have won it all, and we have guys who this is their first NFL experience, and NFL is not for long. So there needs to be a huge sense of urgency. I'm all for, like, you guys know me, I love to laugh, I love to joke, I love to enjoy myself. But you can't be a leader and also be the class clown. It's just, there's got to be a serious sense of urgency. Sounds like coach speak, it just sounds like a bunch of rhetoric, but that's the only thing that's going to fix the problems that we have.
It seems obvious, but is it easier to lose sight of that and when the team's lost 6 straight?
Yeah, you lose sight of everything. You lose, it's like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and the only lights you see coming down the tunnel are freaking trains. You can't live in that mindset. You can't be like that. Every Sunday when you come out here, and this is just my personal experience, you got to believe in the magic of the game, the magic of this sport, or else you'll lose hope, you'll lose joy, it'll just become a job to you, and that's pathetic. You can't walk out here on Sunday and say, okay, it's time to do my job. No, this is a beautiful game. This is a magical experience for all these guys, and the more we lose sight of that, if you lose sight and you don't believe in the magic, it'll never work, right? Every team that's ever won anything has always had an individual and personalized experience of, this is what made us different. And then everyone's always asking them, what made you different? What was it? Was it unity? Was it fellowship? Was it brotherhood? Did you guys just have better players than them? And oftentimes, no, it's not. You don't have better players than them. It's all the other things. It's the intangibles. Championships are won in the margin. And I haven't won shit in this league, but if it's not that, I'm playing the wrong game.
Do you think that sense of urgency exists, or do you think that it needs to be better?
Clearly.
It sounded like a statement. I meant it as a question.
Yeah,
Do you think that it needs to be better, and that it hasn't.
Yeah,
existed to this point?
even if you're playing perfect football, you need to check your routine, and you need to change something, because it's not enough. It's not enough, and you can't just say it and not do it. You can't just talk about it and not be about it. That's just, it's disheartening.
Alvin kind of talked about you all come together as leaders to come on the plan to go forward. Kind of alluded to it a little bit, but what's your real answer?
You got to attack the day. You got to attack apathy. You have to attack. We're going to be in week 9 of the season, and it's you're right in the middle of the year. And like we've seen it when it's been great, right? And we've now seen it at its worst. Like who do you want to be? Like you want to keep walking in this locker room and get this feeling? Because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do absolutely everything in my power to change that narrative as best I can. All right, let's give Juwan his locker back.